Controversial take. You really can solve a lot of male problems by getting in shape and making money. You still have problems. They're just smaller and you have more resources to handle them. The world is there for the taking for anyone who can learn from their mistakes, do what they say they were going to do, and stick with it, even if it's not sexy. What used to make a man acceptable now makes you extraordinary. The bar for winning has never been so low.
Show me two groups of men that need to learn a new skill or achieve anything, where the men that are in shape and have learned to make money do worse than an identical group of those men who are out of shape and have not learned to make money. And it's a skewed, purposefully test, because the skill of getting in shape requires many other skills. The skill of making money has many other sub-skills. And so the real question is, give me a group of more skilled men and less skilled men, and I promise you the more skilled men will do better. Yeah. And so for anyone who gets offended by that, you're a moron. And so the idea is all men and women benefit from learning more skills. There's no world where being more skilled hurts you.
What about the bar for winning has never been so low?
If you think back to college, when you were a freshman, you think, wow, this is so hard or whatever. And then by the time you're a senior, you're like, man, these kids are so soft. And so we remember things as harder than they were. But I also think that there is a thread of reality, which is that the younger generation is softer. And I think we are softer than the generation above us. When I think about the guys who were storming Normandy, and I think about the people who would be attempting to do that now as a class, I think that we are softer. And so the thing is that if you can barely decide to take any action at all and peel your eyes away from your phone for just a moment, it's so much easier to beat everyone else, because most people are overweight, they're distracted, they're poor, they have so few skills, because it has never been easier to start a business, to make money, to get in shape. It's just also never been easier to do nothing. And so in a world where it's never been easier to do nothing, doing something becomes extraordinary.
Yeah. The bar genuinely never has been so low, which is, it really does blow my mind, sort of the self-defeating cynicism mindset. And I think also that's why the idea of the lonely chapter resonates so much with people, because it literally is like taking the red pill. If you see this version of the world where you go, I can impact my outcomes. I can learn a thing, apply a thing, and then I change as a byproduct of doing that. As soon as you take those steps, you realize almost all of the people around you who have parts of their life that they're not happy about are kind of making a choice for it to be that way. Now, it may be an uninformed or an ignorant choice because they haven't taken said pill. And then you go, oh, fuck. That means that all of the things I don't like about me and I don't like about my life are my responsibility because I can change it. But given that you've got generalized cynicism everywhere, as opposed to thinking, I'm despondent, this sucks, I wish that the world was more hopeful, you can still think that and also go, that means that my competition has never been weaker, more vulnerable, more fragile. The ability to set myself out from the pack has never been easier.
I think people struggle a lot with the concept that something can be both painful and empowering. It's this hurts, therefore it's bad. When taking full accountability of your life with all of the deficiencies that you have may be the most painful thing that you do when you look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is my fault. But in saying, this is my fault, those are also the first two steps of progress, because it's my fault, not anyone else's, which means it's my responsibility and my action that can change that. And I think that marrying short-term pain with long-term progress is one of the first connections that most people who are on that path have to make.
This is the lead indicator of what will be the lag indicator that I want.
People get frustrated not achieving what they want because they assume that they're going to jump across a cavern in one leap. But if you picture your goals like you're trying to build a bridge across that crevice, and every brick that you put on that bridge is progress, and each one of those bricks represents a skill that you need to learn along the way, it just takes all the way until you get to the other side that you can actually walk across. And so the walking across is the outcome. It's the external perceived achievement. But if you can reframe your progress as, what are the 100 things on this checklist? What are the 100 skills that I need, the micro skills that I need? Then you can have much faster feedback cycles of wins that you're achieving along the way. And I think if you can define it that way, then you can feel like you are winning, A, more often, but B, with higher intensity, because as you win, skills stack on top of each other. And so I give this example a lot, but I like it, is that if you learned how to do math, that's a skill. Great. If you then learn how to do accounting, that's a leveled up version of that skill, but you have to know how to do math before you can do accounting. Once you learn how to do accounting, you can learn how to do transactions and structure deals. And then all of a sudden you can become a CFO. And if you learn how taxes work and insurance work, then all of a sudden you become, and you learn how to raise money. All of a sudden you can be a rainmaker. But the thing is that the gap between rainmaker and I know how to do math feels very big. But if you look at all of the micro things along the way, you might not get your first major deal done, which is what everyone he did that deal and made $20 million on one signature. Must be nice, right? And it is. But if you break those things down into the requisite skills, then you can make significantly more progress along the way. And I think that is more positively reinforcing. And I'm sharing this because this has been a perspective that has served me so well in my life, because the goals that I have now take many years to come to fruition. Like I'm working in a goal that in the next probably 18 months, I will have been working on for 13 years, and it will probably come due. And the crazy thing is that the bigger your goal, the bigger your timeline has to be. But the even crazier thing is that the bigger your timeline, the easier it is. If I said, you have to learn French and you don't speak French, and you have to do it by tomorrow, it's impossible. You're not going to do it. There's no way that you're going to be able to do it. But if I said you have to learn it in a decade, you're like, oh, I could easily do it. You could probably learn 10 languages in a decade. And so all of a sudden, the goals that you have can be significantly more achievable, and you can feel like you're consistently making progress by moving out your timeline. But because people are so short-term minded, because they can't just stop scrolling over and over again, they actually make it harder for them to achieve their goals, because the only goals that they deem acceptable are ones that are on an unrealistic timeline. And so they doom themselves from the beginning.
You might have heard me say that I took my testosterone from 495 to 1,006 last year, and one of the supplements I took throughout that was Tonkat Ali. I first heard Dr. Andrew Huberman talk about these really impressive effects that tons of research was showing, which sounds great until you realize that most supplements don't actually contain what they're advertising. Momentous make the only NSF-certified Tonkat Ali on the planet. That means they're tested so rigorously that even Olympic athletes can use it. Huberman is actually the scientific advisor for Momentous, so if you've ever wondered what supplements he would create or what he really uses himself, this is the answer. Best of all, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it completely risk-free, use it, and if you do not like it for any reason, they will give you your money back. And they ship internationally. Right now, you can get 20% off everything site-wide, including Tonkat Ali, by going to the link in the description below or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and Modern Wisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, you will love the full-length podcast with the one and only Mr. Hormozi right here. Go on.